Hey, what's going on, guys? Livin here, and I want to show you guys a Frontlines gameplay I had played on the new Nivelle Nights map. I thought I'd keep up a little bit on the new Frontlines game mode and try them out with these new maps, see what they were all about. So we got some Nivelle over going on here, and it was kind of hard for me to get into some games where they had started just in the very beginning. So unfortunately, I come into this game again where I was behind. But kind of learning from those other games where I was so behind on that they actually ended quite quickly by the time I got into the game, that I figured that I think you know, what you gotta do is just kind of got to bring it back, and that's kind of what I learned a little bit on Frontlines on this specific game, was that even when it kind of looks dire to you, you can still bring it back. So that's kind of what I was kind of learning probably midway through, or less than midway through, I would say, because I obviously spawned in here with the 33-minute mark. So as far as I'm concerned, it's only for a 40-minute gameplay. So yeah, I was able to kind of pick it up that you know, he's got to believe. Is what I'm trying to say. So I'm kind of battling in the trenches here, and I'm kind of playing because, like I said, I don't play much of Frontlines, so. I'm kind of not really playing to the style I would play like in Conquest. I'm kind of sticking in the trenches and on the actual capture point, which is not normally my style. I like flanking around and doing things like that. So we struggle here a little bit here in the very beginning until I kind of realize that, hey, I'm not playing to the living standard. So I begin to realize, oh, okay, I'm gonna go back to how I usually would do something. On like other game modes, and I'm just gonna kind of stick with what I know, what I know to do. You know, you always stick with what you know to do, what you do well, and that's how I kind of view it when I play this game. Is stick with what you do well, find that weapon you do well with, and then kind of like work your way around that area there. You know, so you're always helping your teammates out. You're doing the best you can at every game. And then if you're doing really well in that game, and your team's doing well, and you guys are about, you're winning by a large margin, then start, tweaking things and trying other things out. It's kind of how I like to do things, kind of my viewpoint on it. So, yeah, I eventually kind of kick it in here into gear and begin to realize, oh, you know what, I'm gonna go back to flanking around instead of just being on that actual territory, which was kind of dire though, because we end up losing E over here. And we end up getting pushed back into our main, our last two sectors that they had to cap. So it did get kind of nervous. So, but one thing is kind of fun though is still throwing this dynamite everywhere. I've talked about this before, that I've normally always carry mines around because I've always had to deal with a lot of tanks and whatnot. But lately, all the maps mainly haven't had that many tanks to have to deal with. So. Like Nivelle Nights has one tank you have to deal with, so it's not even that bad for me. So, so carrying dynamite around and be able to get all these kills here and there, it's pretty nice. So, so yeah, I'm kind of experimenting here how far the actual territory goes around. It's kind of interesting to see how far it goes all the way down those trenches and how it specifically stays in the trenches there. Where normally you might have like capture zones that are more, have kind of a you're not discriminative of if it's in trenches or on the ground or anything like that, but in this specific area, it's only made to be in the trenches. So I found that kind of interesting. As you can see, that I'm running back into the trenches because one thing is very true about this map for sure is that I feel like I die so much if I pop out of the trenches. So I'm kind of careful about that now, because this map does cater to playing in the trenches. So. That's what I've been kind of been realizing, been like, you know what, I'm just gonna peek my head out and then put my head back down. So, and if I'm gonna come up, I'm throwing smoke like this because yeah, so I've kind of learned now that is not what I want to be doing. So I'm gonna try pushing up here, see if I can kind of pick off. I was gonna try to spawn, wait right here and see if I can catch him, like trying to go into the actual trenches right there and catch him off guard. Because I was kind of realizing I don't want to get stuck on the trenches, and that what was ended up happening is we're all staying there by the trenches, and then they're all hovering on top of us, throwing dynamite and things like that. So at this point now, I'm getting to realize, you know what, I need to kind of flank around and get behind them as I would normally do on other games. The only unfortunate part was I just ended up using my two I end up using my 2 smoke grenades. So in that case, what they're gonna end up doing is spawning behind me and killing me, as you can see right there. So one way to eliminate that is when you come flank around people, throw a smoke right where you're at when you're coming from behind, so the teammates that are spawning behind you can't see you. You're able to clear out that whole area, and it's going to kind of distract the people when they see. They're going to see a bunch of smoke, so they're going to be hesitant, and then they're going to see their teammates dying. They're going to make them even more hesitant. And by the time they realize what's going on, your teammates should be able to capture points. So that was the thing I was trying to. I wasn't trying to do it in that specific situation because obviously I didn't have any smoke left. But that's something I would recommend doing if you want to, like, if you're trying to flank, just throw smoke like right on your position, right before you flank, and so you can cover your back, and yeah, then do some work from there. So it's a little secret strat if you want to try that out. Hopefully it will work out for you. But unfortunately, I wasn't, like I said, I died in that area, so we're struggling to cap E over here. So like I had said, they pushed us back here, and it got kind of dire in their situation. So as again, I'm throwing more smoke because I know right when I pop my head out, I'm just gonna be just all this bait for snipers and whatnot. So and I'm giving them a couple gifts of dynamite. That's something I like doing too. Is you throw some smoke, and if you throw some smoke and you get around the enemy players, they can't see you, and I'll just throw some dynamite on the ground. They'll usually run, and I'll move away from the smoke. They'll run into the smoke, and I'll shoot the dynamite off, and I'll kill them too. So helps me eliminate that accuracy that you need to have, because as much as the smoke, you want it to, like, use it where people can't see you and they can't shoot you well, which is true. But then what ends up happening is then you won't be able to kill other people either. So so it can kind of work against you as well. So having some dynamite works pretty nice. So again, it's kind of unfortunate for other people who don't have that class, but I mean, you can find different ways. I mean, if you're you're using a support class, you can throw a limpet charge on the ground. I'm sure that will do it. You know, if you're the medic class, I'm sure you can throw your little grenade launchers on there, and that will do it as well too. You know, there's different ways. There's different ways to get away with it. So so yeah, again, more of a grind on over here. Like I said, I spawned into these games. I spawned into a lot of these games. This was not the first one I had spawned into. I spawned into 2 other ones before that treated me just as bad. And yeah, I was like, wow, I don't even know if I'm gonna get any good gameplay. Like, I at least wanted some, like, time to actually play the actual game. At least, even if I lost, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. I just wanted to have a little bit of a battle, you know. And yeah, unfortunately, I was just getting in these games where we just couldn't do anything. So I was like, oh, I'm kind of don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't want to keep playing this. But this one ended up actually turning into something. So that was a relief, at least. Even though at this point right now, it kind of looks like, oh, you know what, you might be in bit trouble, which is kind of interesting. Again, I was making mention this on my other Frontlines when I was playing on Imion, is that man, before you know it, you can just instantly be losing and be pushed yourself back pretty far back. Like, you know, I don't know how much damage I did to hold them off over there on E, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would have helped out, slow it down the progress at all. But I mean, by the time I spawned in that game, they were already right. You know, they'd already moved. They already grabbed the middle part, and then the next part. So they grabbed C and D, and then they were about to cap E, and they ended up capping E. So that's what I noticed in IMMs too, is that, man, you can get that real big momentum. That's kind of interesting how that gameplay works, because like when I play Conquest a lot, it's kind of notorious for people to just kind of roll around and cap the bases and move around and cap the next base. Here's an instance of me throwing the smoke and trying to do the dynamite thing, and unfortunately, smoke wasn't placed well enough for this, so they were able to see me. But yeah, that like, you know, that Conquest thing where everyone goes around, they'll cap it, and then they move around and they keep capping. And that's just, it's this big circle of capping and losing bases. And it's like, man, this, if anything, man, this is the map. This is the way to have that mindset, is on this, like, Frontlines, because that's all you need to do is just keep capping. So it's like, yeah, it hits you pretty hard until you kind of have to figure out, like, hey, what am I doing here? And you kind of have to, like, adjust to the gameplay and do things a little bit differently. And so yeah, it's just, it favors that. It works well for here. And that's something that next thing you know, just because that's what everyone does really well. I'll give everyone that. It's just like, it's like unanimous, and people know how to cap bases. cap territories. And I'm not like saying that tongue in cheek. Like people do that well. Like they know how to like get onto the actual like flag and know how, to push for it. Like we don't have that problem. They might have a hard time like getting onto the flag. I see a lot of people get onto the flag, and they'll just like try to find a corner to hide in. And I'm sure they're trying to find that corner to hide, and they're kind of waiting in a listening seat, hoping someone's going to run across and find them, like run across from where they're at, and they can't see them, and they're going to be able to shoot them. And I'm sure that works, sometimes, but I don't find it as too consistent, especially when you're trying to cap like very like bases that are like if you're trying to work with just your squad, or you have a limited amount of players who are going to spawn on you, because then the enemy team will end up spawning all their teammates onto the base, and then you're not able to have the majority on the base and start actually moving the ticker to your favor, and then they end up finding you and killing you. So I find that can happen a good amount of times if you're just trying to hide there. That's why I like to put myself in a position where the moment one guy starts showing up, I can start taking him out as quick as I can, just to buy me enough time just to move the ticker just at least into the neutral zone. So do some type of damage. So yeah, here comes the change on the game though. Right now is I'm going to start to flank all the way around, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take all the snipers out first, because every time I pop my head over this, I get in trouble. And so now I'm flanking around, so I'm gonna get 5 kills right there. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna flank now, because I realized my mistake. I was just playing a little bit out of my my comfort zone. Not saying exactly, I'm not like obviously anywhere close to thinking I don't know anything about Frontlines. I've only played a few games, but I'm at least gonna do what I at least know how to do, and I at least know how to flank. So I'm kind of surprised there that I didn't die and get hit from behind, but I killed like 6 or 7 people right there, and so I'm just gonna keep rotating myself around and doing that again. Weird part over here, somehow these guys see me over here, I think. I'm trying to wonder why or how. Oh no, he doesn't see me. This is another time he comes around. I was gonna say, there's another time this guy ends up seeing me, and I'm in the trenches, and I was kind of interested to kind of see how in the world this guy saw me, but yeah, not quite there yet. So I'm kind of cutting off every zone, kind of realizing that, I mean, we just had our mistake over here. We were trying to hold down E, and I kind of like learned from not being able to grab E last time. So so yeah, is this it? Yeah, I think this is it. The guy's able to see me. Yeah, he's somehow throwing grenades. I mean, I'm assuming he must have heard me, but I got away with one right there, so that was fortunate for me. But I'm assuming he had to have heard me, because I didn't see no flare or anything like that. So yeah, this guy was definitely listening in it and using that correctly. So again, flanking, just doing it nonstop, and it's working. And now I got a nice flare from my team right there. I'm able to throw some more grenades. They got a horse on me, unfortunately, but I've done a good enough damage already. So even if I come up here and die over here, we did enough, and we were able to cap it. So there we go. So there it is. I mean, I don't know if that's how you do it. I'm assuming there's some flanking obviously has to go around. All of you can't sit on the base. But at least that worked for me. But I'm not going to come up here and start saying that, hey, look, this is how you're supposed to do it. I just wanted to play some Frontlines, try something out differently. And, if you have any feedback or anything you want to talk about, how you like Frontlines or what your strats are, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I'm always in there checking things out, so you can always say what's up. So that guy, though, had enough of me and blasted me with a rocket gun. I had no idea I had that guy 8-0, though, so I don't blame him. The weird thing about this Frontlines thing is because there's such a close battle, that you end up seeing so many people over and over again. So those death counts can really accumulate if you're having a guy that you keep running against and keep slaying you. But yeah, that guy used a rocket gun on me. Wasn't expecting that, but it's all good, because I'm keeping the same strat again, where I'm just gonna loop my way all the way around and try to catch him off guard. And keep doing that, since that worked effectively for me here. So I did a little bit of damage there. I'm gonna go work these trenches around. It was kind of weird, because I was under the impression like Conquest over here, you're not in the territory, but on Frontlines you are. So I thought that was kind of interesting, running down that little passageway right there. Fortunately, do I get that guy? Yeah, I'm killing that guy. So I'm getting away with some stuff there, and which is nice, because sometimes my shotgun just doesn't do anything, and I'm shooting 4 times at the guy who's right next to me. But those were huge kills. Even though I get myself killed here, because there's a light machine gun class, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm out of range there. but those were big kills. That was just enough to have my whole team was probably right on the basically my whole team's on it, and so there's nothing to be able to do on there at that part anymore because they don't have enough manpower in that area. I had killed enough people, so that was big. So you know, again, you know, I'm not always contributing everything I'm doing specifically to what is helping my team. You know, I'm not. I don't have an ego like that to say that, but I do realize that there's some things that you can be doing. I'm not, you know, I'm gonna say, oh look, you know. So I think some of that flanking was helping in those situations. So so yeah, we were able to get that pretty quick, which was nice. And now we're able to come over here and push over to C, which is nice to do because I've made mentions before in playing on Conquest that I'm not familiar with like the furthest bases because I feel like they're man, I'll tell you what, when you play on Conquest and A and F are so far away, wow, like I mean you're over there by E and B and you're like, okay, I see their base, and you want to go over there, man, you got this open area there and you gotta run all the way around, man, it puts you so out of play. So for me personally, I kind of like to stay out of that area because it just takes me out of play. And so I don't really know the terrain very that well, so at least I was able to get out of that area right there because of the fact that now I'm more familiar with this area right here. So that was a bad play on my part. I knew what I was doing. I knew I should drop. I remember the specific play. I was like, I should drop smoke. I was like, it's getting greedy because they're all right there. And the problem is there's a fine line because you can drop the smoke and you're too busy dropping smoke, and then they'll move over a hill or a cliff, and you put yourself in a bad spot because then you can't kill them, and then you're like, well, what do I do to chase after them? Because if you chase after them, then you know you're back kind of where you started at, and then if you move into the smoke and try to attack the enemy team, you're using the smoke against you then. So I was like, it's stuck in that awkward position right there. So you saw that open right there, and so I tried to make a push over here, but they were already waiting for me, and I got shot on the side there. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, teammates did great on that one. Teammates were mainly on C on this one here, so that was all of them there because I didn't do anything, I don't think, on that one. So, but the strat was, which is what I was going to do right here, which was I'm going to flank all the way around, which I was like, this is the god spawn because I want to be completely on as far as I could so I could loop all the way around and flank them from the side, which I was able to do. I think I'm able to do some damage on this one here. So, but props to my teammates on C there, and it's kind of how it works too. I mean, I'm sure they were probably better on C as well too. You know, you understand the positioning, maybe better, more used to it. Even though C is not the classic C like it is on Conquest, you at least know the terrain a little bit better, or maybe it plays better to how you're playing, you know. And in that situation there, it worked out well for my team. So, so yeah, I'm gonna keep up this flanking, even though I run into this guy here, and that's a little bit of shotgun right there. You know, I'm trying to blast the dude. I put 3 shots to take him out, but now I'm being pushed. So I'm just gonna chill out here. I'm not gonna do anything kind of stupid because I know that I'm in a good spot. And I know they're going to have to start flanking. They're going to start pushing all the way around over here. And I want to catch them off guard as much as I can. So I want to, you know, have that, you know, like how it has been on Conquest. You know, you get that momentum, and you just can't stop. And that's what I'm kind of trying to do, is try to get that momentum and take the wind out of them. And use some dynamite around some turns. I'll tell you what, man, dynamite just saves you so many times around certain turns. Like, look at that. Wow. You know, like, you can eliminate so many problems doing that. And I'm sure dynamite's probably the most favorite. I haven't even checked to see what is probably one of the most favorite gadgets for the assault class, but I can't imagine that dynamite isn't. Yeah, I could just, there's so many things that you can use with it. It might not be the best to do certain, like, take out a tank or something like that, but it can at least take out a tank still, you know. But like mines can't, you know, take out infantry players, you know. So, you know, stuff like that's just kind of crazy. So, yeah, there was a little more of the flank right there, and I feel like I had done enough damage jumping on towards B to help move the ticker across, and there's not even anyone on B. So, maybe 1 guy or 2 guys are going to be pushing on here. So, by the time they were able to get everyone on here, I'm not concerned because I knew I had done enough damage. So I'm just going to heal myself, put my gas mask on so I can get my health bar to go up. If you're ever curious sometimes, you know, if you wonder why your health isn't going up, like if you have gas around you, And I don't even think it's just even enemies gas. Like if you even have teammates gas around you, you still need to put your gas mask on because your health won't like regain up. So keep that in mind if you're ever curious why your health isn't regenerating. It's not necessary. It could be your own teammates gas, I believe, won't regenerate your health as well either. So yeah, this guy was right behind. I could hear him. I was like, I can hear you, but I can't find where you're at. So yeah, so he was just thinking behind me. But hey, we were able to cap that. Now we're just gonna cap A over here. We got the momentum going. I kind of got the mentality going right now. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna keep flanking. Unfortunately, I'm back on the side where I'm not familiar with. Like I said, it is interesting though to kind of see it like over there though, because like obviously in Conquest it's more over here to your left, I believe, where the actual capture point is at. On the other side of these trenches, or is it the same area? I'm not really sure. I'm kind of lost where I'm at. So it shows how much I don't know this whole area completely. Like I said, I'm close to the area I'm at. This part is maybe when I'll go spawn a tank in the game or something like that. But even then, I haven't been using tanks that much. But teammates are on this part really quick here. The teammates did good. They started picking it up. You know, sometimes you just need that momentum to get your teammates going, and they definitely got it for sure. C definitely showed it, and you could see them. They handled C completely for me. So watching around on the side over here, trying to pick them off. Got some good spots. If there's some flares going on over here, which is always nice. I'm pretty sure there is. Because I don't think all those were spots. So I got some good flares. That's helpful. Like really helpful. I tell you what, man. Oh man, it's like such a gadget that could just compel me so strongly to want to play scout class. If it wasn't for like tanks always being sometimes a problem, and I've just gotten so used to playing the assault class now that it's kind of like. You know, something I've just kind of got to stick with for now. I play a little bit of scout here and there, but not anything where I feel like I said, I always kind of stick with the thing I do well at, and then kind of work from there. But here's a solid flank. Kind of watching what's going on, yeah, we were able to take that one. So we got the last two that we have to deal with over here, and. Yeah, so it was another solid flank. Again, just keeping the flank, keeping the idea of the flank going on. It's been working for me here, and yeah, they didn't have an answer for that at all. This guy does a good job over here to hold me down over here, but my teammate comes around. I throw there's me throwing my dynamite. I'm into the right when I'm in that situation. I'm throwing the I'm throwing the smoke, throwing dynamite. My new meta, man. What am I supposed to do? You know, some situations what I'll do is sometimes I'll drop down. And some people will push me too, and I'll stand myself back up and I'll shoot them because I'll catch them off guard because they think I'm just gonna keep laying down. Like how many times have you saw somebody you're shooting, he laid down and he stays laying down, so you just run up to him and shoot him while he's weak. He's like hoping he's gonna shoot you. That's a very difficult play, especially when you're weak, to get that kill. So what I'll do is I'll lay my and especially too because as the enemy player, as you going up and trying to kill the guy hiding, you already know. You know, he's going to be hiding down there. You know he's going to stay there. So what I'll do is I'll drop down real quick, then I'll pop myself back up and just try to do like a play there, catch him off guard and get away with that. And that's usually what I'll try doing. Because I think I have a better option of hopefully getting some type of lucky shot on him off guard as that player runs across full of flames. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, just like this desperate attempt to get it, but the teammate's there. But yeah, I'll do that like last second thing to try to get across and to get a lucky play on the guy instead of just staying there and being dead. Or what I've been lately doing has been using smoke and throwing dynamite, hoping they'll run up at me and I'll kill them with dynamite. But yeah, that's basically it there for you guys. Just thought I would do another Frontlines, but on the new Nivelle Knights map. I'm kind of cracking up still for that guy running with the as he was burning on fire, trying to shove one off at the last second. But yeah, again guys, thanks again for watching, guys. I appreciate you guys for being here, and I'll catch you guys again later. Peace.